She banged on my gate like it was her own front door and shouted, "You need to take this down immediately! The community has rights to this road!" I stared at her through the bars, calm but boiling inside. That gate wasn't just some metal fence. It was built on my father's land, the same land he left me in his will. She waved a stack of papers, shaking them like they meant law, and added, "This is HOA property now. Either you remove it or we'll fine you every single day until you're broke." I almost laughed because I already knew the papers she held were fake. Still, the neighbors peeked from their porches, whispering, watching me like I was some criminal, barricading myself in. Karen wanted humiliation. She wanted me to bend. But instead, I leaned against the post and said, "You don't own this land, and if you keep trespassing, you'll regret it." Her face turned red, her lips quivered, and I could see she wasn't expecting resistance. That's when she pulled out her phone and barked into it. "Get the cops down here, now!" And I thought to myself, perfect. Let her dig her own hole. Minutes later, 2 police cruisers rolled up, lights flashing like I had started a war. Karen rushed to them, pointing at me wildly. "That man is blocking community access with his illegal gate. Arrest him, now!" One of the officers walked up, sizing me up like I was some thug. "Sir, is this your property?" he asked firmly. Before I could...
The very next morning, I woke up to the sound of heavy machinery outside. When I stepped onto my porch, my jaw tightened. Karen had hired a tow truck and a couple of guys in neon vests. They were already hooking chains to my gate, acting like it was some abandoned junkyard scrap. Karen stood there with her arms folded, a smug grin on her face. "You wouldn't listen, so now the HOA is taking matters into our own hands," she said loud enough for the whole street to hear. My neighbors gathered again, some shaking their heads, others recording with their phones. I walked down the steps slowly, not shouting, just steady. "Touch that gate," I warned, "and you'll be facing felony charges." The tow driver hesitated, looking nervous, but Karen snapped at him. "Don't listen to him, I'll cover everything." I could feel my heart pounding, but I let a smile creep across my face. Because what she didn't know was that 2 days ago, I had upgraded the gate. Reinforced steel, new locks, and motion-triggered cameras wired directly to the sheriff's office. As the tow driver tightened the chains, the gate didn't budge. Instead, an alarm blared so loud it shook the street. Within seconds, my phone lit up with a call from the sheriff himself. Karen's grin vanished as the sirens in the distance started growing louder. Sheriff's SUV pulled up before the tow truck could even retreat. The sirens cut, and the sheriff stepped out, his boots crunching on the gravel. Karen marched right up to him, waving her arms. "Finally! Arrest him! He's breaking every HOA rule!"
Karen's confidence snapped like glass. She spun toward the crowd, trying to rally support. "You're all witnesses. He's turning this place into a fortress. Next thing you know, none of us will have rights." But the neighbors didn't back her. One man in the crowd spoke up. "Karen, you told us this was HOA property, but if it's really his land, then you lied to us." Another woman added, "You had us sign fake petitions, didn't you?" Murmurs spread, phones recording every word. Karen's eyes flicked from face to face, her voice growing shrill. "Don't believe him! He's manipulating everyone!" That's when the sheriff cleared his throat. "Actually, ma'am, you're the one under investigation. We've had complaints about false notices, forged signatures, even harassment calls traced back to your phone." Karen's mouth dropped open, but before she could spit out another excuse, the deputy stepped forward with a folder. "All evidence collected from last month, including you trying to fine this man for a gate that was never under HOA jurisdiction." I let the silence hang for a moment, then leaned just close enough for her to hear me. "You wanted me humiliated? Instead, you just exposed yourself." Her lip quivered, but the fight wasn't gone yet. I could see it in her eyes. She wasn't walking away quietly. Karen suddenly lunged for the papers in the deputy's hand, trying to snatch them away. "These aren't real! You can't use that against me!" The deputy pulled back fast, and the sheriff's voice boomed. "That's enough!"
But Karen wasn't listening. She turned and shouted at the tow truck driver, "Pull it down now! I don't care what they say! Do—"
I heard the SUV before I saw it. Heavy engine, calm and steady. My wife stepped out, badge clipped to her belt even though she was off duty, and the whole street went quiet like someone had turned down the world. She didn't shout or brag. She just walked up, looked at Karen and said, "Ma'am, you're under investigation for fraud and impersonation. Put your hands where I can see them." Karen went white, then furious. She sputtered about rights and survival and how she'd do anything to keep control. My wife smiled, low and tired. "You made threats. You forged documents. We traced the forgeries back to your printer and your email. We have witnesses. We also have your calls to that tow company. They have you on tape coaching them." Phones flashed everywhere. The live stream was still rolling, and neighbors were shouting facts back like evidence. Karen's last look was not at me, but at the camera, pleading without words. I stepped forward and said, calm as a judge, "You wanted everyone to watch me fall. You forgot I don't fall alone." The sheriff moved in, deputies closed the circle, and Karen finally realized the stage was over. The applause from the porch felt like the last nail. Karen's wrists clicked in the cuffs, and the sheriff guided her toward the SUV. She kept thrashing, yelling, "This isn't legal! I am the HOA!" But the neighbors didn't buy it anymore. Phones were up, some even cheering as the sheriff pushed her inside. My wife walked back to me, brushing dust from her jeans. She didn't need to say a word. Her presence alone was enough. The sheriff turned toward the crowd. "For anyone wondering, this property is privately owned. The gate stays, and this man and his family are protected under county law." The relief in people's faces was real, like they had been living under Karen's shadow for too long. Some clapped, some just nodded, but I saw the shift